Chef Josh from Posh in Old Town Scottsdale, and today we're making Padichu, which is a French pastry that we can use for many purposes, but the most common is to stuff with mousse or ice cream and have a delectable little treat. So we're going to start with a copper pot here and on a nice stove. I have 1 cup of milk, which I'm going to add to my pot. I have 2 ounces of butter, which I'm going to add to my pot. I have 4 eggs and 1 cup of flour. This flour comes to us from Hayden Flour Mills in Arizona. We are one of the towns that's lucky enough to have a new modern miller that is making us very fresh flour, which helps with our moisture content in our flour in a state like Arizona where it's very dry. Fresh flour can make us have a much more consistent product when we bake breads or cookies or candies. So we are going to put this on medium heat, give it a little stir, and add a teeny little pinch of salt. We're going to go with about 1 teaspoon. And what we're looking for is we're looking for our butter and our milk to melt evenly. As you can see, we're not quite there yet. We're going to do this on medium heat, and once our butter and our milk have melted and are combined, we're going to turn the heat up to high and bring it up to a boil. Once we bring it up to a boil, we're going to hit it with 1 cup of flour real fast, try to trap some of those air bubbles in there, and we'll have this light as air kind of doughy pastry that rises as it sits in the oven. So we'll give it a little stir to help melt our butter a little more evenly, kind of pushing it against the bottom of the pot. We don't want to use a whisk for this, we'll create too many air bubbles. And we're going to continue stirring, we're almost melted here. And once we do that, we're going to cram our heat up to high real fast. And keep your flour close by at this point. Once your milk comes up to a rapid boil, we're going to toss the flour in there real quick. All right, I'm coming up to a boil real fast. Add my flour, take it off the heat, and I'm going to stir furiously to get all that flour mixed in as fast as I can. And it's going to start to kind of form broken pieces and then come together into one homogeneous lump, just like that. And then we're just going to rest this over the heat for 2 seconds, just to kind of barely dry the surface. And then we're going to incorporate our eggs, 1 at a time. So I'm going to crack the eggs. We always want to crack our eggs into a different container, just in case we break a shell. And we're going to take that, pour it in, and stir real fast. And what's going to happen is that dough is going to start to separate and turn into pieces. See how it kind of starts to separate into little chunks and pieces, and then keep stirring fiercely, and it will reincorporate into one piece. When it's ready to reincorporate, we're ready to add another egg. We're going to do that until all 4 eggs are incorporated. If you add your eggs too quickly, your little dough mixture will break too much and will take a lot of extra effort to fully incorporate back together into that one homogeneous lump of dough again. Once again, it'll start to separate a little bit, and then if you keep stirring ferociously, we'll get back to that one homogeneous lump of dough once again. And for our 4th egg and final egg, all right. So now I'm back to one homogeneous dough. It should look a little glossy. That's what you're going for when you know you're done. Then we're going to take a little temporary pastry bag. Fill it up. We're just going to cut a little hole in the end. We're not going to use any fancy shaped tips for this. But you can if you want to do like little starry tips or something. And then we're going to pipe these out onto a sheet tray with a little parchment paper. You can do different shapes. I do like little round towers. Or you can do the traditional for the Paris breast. Kind of the longer, flatter, round piece. But I like to do just these little kind of cylinders. And then these are going to go into a 425 degree oven for 22 minutes. And then once the 22 minutes are done, we're going to take a towel, we're going to open the oven door, and we're going to crack it to dry it out. Give that about 10 more minutes to let the pastry dry from the inside out. And then once we're done, we'll take them out and we'll have these beautiful little puff cylinders. Once you are done, your finished product will look like this, which you can then rip open and stuff with ice cream or peanut butter mousse or whatever you like. So we have little Padichus there, which you can make for a wonderful little dessert. Thanks, cook well, and have a nice day.